I never thought I'd see her like that, the woman who ran board meetings like a general commanding troops, sitting at her desk with tears streaming down her face. What happened next changed both our lives forever. Stay with me until the end to discover how one vulnerable moment can create an unbreakable bond between two unlikely people. If this story touches your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to see more real stories that remind us we're all human beneath our professional masks. Michael Chen adjusted his tie as he rode the elevator to the 47th floor. The digital clock on his phone read 7:15 p.m., much later than he'd planned to stay. His sister had already texted twice about picking up his daughter, Emma. At 8 years old, Emma was the center of Michael's universe, especially since her mother had walked out 3 years ago, claiming she wasn't cut out for family life. The marketing presentation for tomorrow wasn't finished, and Victoria Stone, CEO of Stone Innovations, expected nothing short of perfection. Victoria had a reputation that preceded her: brilliant, demanding, and utterly intimidating. The whispers around the office painted her as cold, calculating, and possibly incapable of human emotion. Michael had been working directly under her for 6 months, and while he respected her business acumen, he'd never seen her crack a genuine smile. The office floor was deserted. Everyone else had gone home to their families or evening plans. The only light came from Victoria's corner office, its glass walls revealing a silhouette hunched over a desk. Michael approached quietly, clutching his laptop. He needed her signature on the marketing budget before tomorrow's meeting. He raised his hand to knock but froze. Through the glass, he could see Victoria's shoulders shaking. The formidable CEO was crying, not delicate tears, but body-racking sobs that she was clearly trying to muffle with her hand. Michael hesitated. Walking away seemed cowardly, but intruding felt inappropriate. Before he could decide, Victoria looked up and their eyes met through the glass. Her expression shifted from devastation to mortification in an instant. "I'm so sorry," Michael stammered, already backing away. "I can come back tomorrow." Victoria quickly wiped her eyes. "No, come in, Chen. What do you need?" Michael reluctantly entered her office, feeling like he was stepping into a minefield. Victoria's makeup was smudged, her eyes red-rimmed, but she was already rebuilding her composure brick by brick. "Just the marketing budget approval," he said, sliding the folder across her desk, avoiding eye contact to give her dignity. Victoria signed without looking at the documents. When she handed them back, her hand trembled slightly. "Is everything okay?" Michael asked before he could stop himself. Victoria stared at him for a long moment, as if calculating the risk of honesty. "No," she finally said. "But it's not your concern." Michael nodded and turned to leave, but something made him pause at the door. Maybe it was the memory of how alone he'd felt after his wife left, or maybe it was simply human decency. "I'm a good listener," he offered quietly. "If you need one." Victoria's laugh was hollow. "I doubt you want to hear your boss's problems, Chen. You have your own life to get back to." "My daughter's with my sister tonight," he lied. "I've got time." Victoria studied him, her analytical mind visibly weighing options. Then she did something that shocked him. She gestured to the chair across from her desk. "My mother died today," she said flatly. "Pancreatic cancer. We knew it was coming, but..." She trailed off, looking out at the city lights. "I'm so sorry," Michael said, meaning it. "Were you close?" Victoria's expression softened slightly. "She was my only family. My father left when I was young. She worked 3 jobs to put me through college." Her voice cracked. "She never got to enjoy life. Always working, always sacrificing. And now she's gone." Michael recognized the guilt in her voice, the same guilt he carried about working long hours away from Emma. "She must have been very proud of you," he offered. Victoria shook her head. She wanted grandchildren, family dinners, holiday gatherings. Instead, she got a daughter who visited twice a year and sent expensive gifts. The silence between them grew heavy with unspoken understanding. "I have a daughter," Michael said finally. "Emma. She's 8. Her mother left when she was 5. Victoria looked at him with new interest. "How do you manage? Being a single parent and working here?" "Not well, sometimes," Michael admitted. "Tonight, for instance, I should be home with her instead of finishing presentations." Victoria's gaze sharpened. "You should go home, Chen." "It's fine. My sister." "Go home to your daughter," Victoria interrupted. "The presentation can wait." Michael hesitated. "Are you sure?" Victoria nodded, then surprised him with her next words. "Actually, I have a request. It might sound strange." Michael waited, curious. "Would you bring your daughter to the office sometime?" Victoria asked, her voice uncharacteristically uncertain. "I'd like to meet her." The request was so unexpected that Michael couldn't hide his surprise. "You want to meet Emma?" Victoria looked almost embarrassed. "My mother's last words to me were, 'Don't wait until it's too late to build a life beyond that office.' I think I need to remember there's a world outside these walls." Michael nodded slowly. "She'd love that. Emma's always asking what my boss is like. She thinks CEOs are like superheroes." For the first time since he'd known her, Victoria Stone smiled genuinely. "I'm no superhero, Chen." "I don't know," Michael said. "Running this company seems pretty heroic to me." Victoria wiped away the last of her tears. "Thank you for not walking away when you saw me like this." "Thank you for being human," Michael replied. "It makes the rest of us feel less inadequate." As Michael left the office that night, something had shifted. The intimidating CEO had become a person, grieving, vulnerable, and perhaps a little lonely. The following week, Michael brought Emma to the office after school. Victoria had cleared her schedule for an hour, something her assistant claimed had never happened before. Emma, with her gap-toothed smile and endless questions, charmed Victoria immediately. To Michael's amazement, Victoria answered each question patiently, showing Emma around her office and even letting her sit in the CEO's chair. "My dad works really hard," Emma told Victoria seriously. "Sometimes too hard." Victoria glanced at Michael. "I think I might be partly responsible for that. Perhaps we should do something about it." 2 days later, Michael was called into Victoria's office. He expected a discussion about the quarterly reports, but instead, she proposed something unexpected. "I'm creating a new position," Victoria announced. Work-Life Integration Director. The role would involve restructuring our corporate policies to better support employees with families. Hours would be flexible, with 2 days of remote work per week. She paused. "I'd like you to consider taking it." Michael was stunned. "Why me?" "Because you understand the struggle firsthand," Victoria said simply. "And because I trust your judgment." The new position changed everything for Michael. He could attend Emma's school events, be home for dinner most nights, and still contribute meaningfully to the company. More surprisingly, it changed Victoria too. She began hosting monthly family days at the office, established an on-site childcare center, and implemented parental leave policies that exceeded industry standards. The company's productivity increased, and employee turnover dropped dramatically. 6 months after that night in her office, Victoria invited Michael and Emma to dinner at her home, a penthouse apartment with spectacular views but few personal touches. As Emma explored in wonder, Victoria confided in Michael. "I've been seeing a grief counselor," she said quietly. "She's helping me understand that my mother wouldn't want me to just work differently, she'd want me to live differently." Michael nodded. "What does living differently look like for Victoria Stone?" She smiled, the expression no longer foreign on her face. "I'm still figuring that out." But I think it involves more dinners like this and fewer nights alone in that office. Over the following year, Victoria became a regular presence in Michael and Emma's life. She attended Emma's soccer games, joined them for weekend hikes, and even hosted a surprisingly successful birthday party for Emma with homemade cupcakes that were only slightly lopsided. The office whispers changed. The Ice Queen nickname faded as employees saw a leader who valued their whole lives, not just their work output. Stone Innovations became known as much for its family-friendly policies as for its business success. On the anniversary of her mother's death, Victoria invited Michael and Emma to join her at the cemetery. As Emma placed flowers on the grave, Victoria turned to Michael. "Thank you," she said simply. "For what?" "For walking into my office that night instead of walking away. For showing me that vulnerability isn't weakness." She watched Emma arranging the flowers with care. "For reminding me what matters." Michael took her hand, a gesture that would have been unimaginable a year ago. We all need reminding sometimes. 3 years after that fateful night, Stone Innovations was featured in Business Weekly as a model for corporate culture transformation. The article included a photo of Victoria with Michael and Emma at a company picnic, all three laughing as they tried to build a human pyramid with other employees. The caption read, "CEO Victoria Stone credits her company's revolutionary approach to work-life balance to a moment of personal crisis and the compassion of a single father who reminded her that behind every professional is a human being with a heart." Victoria framed the article and hung it beside her mother's photograph in her office, a daily reminder that sometimes our greatest strengths emerge from our moments of greatest vulnerability. "Life doesn't always give us second chances," Victoria often said in her increasingly frequent speaking engagements on corporate culture. "But when it does, the brave thing, the human thing, is to take them." And it all began because a single dad walked in on his CEO boss crying, and had the courage to stay when he could have walked away. Sometimes the most powerful connections in our lives come from moments when we're at our most vulnerable. If this story touched you, remember that behind every professional title is a person with their own struggles and triumphs. Like and subscribe for more stories that remind us of our shared humanity, and remember, it's never too late to build a life beyond the walls we construct around ourselves.